Hello everybody, my name's Andrew Alan Matthews, you can call me Andy. I'm going to show you a way of paint and produce my art and have a laugh along the way, okay? So my art is not a mathematical equation, it's a free-flowing style. My art is for enjoyment and art for art's sake. So I used to work in the textile design industry as a commercial design separation artist. Reproducing textile designs for the furnishing fashion industry for a decade. Reproduced designs for Laura Ashley, Sanderson's, Liberty Designs, Recteller, ABC Batik, and all the major high street brands that you see in the UK. So I enjoyed my career in textiles, but it was restrictive, precise and detailed, and didn't allow me to express my art in my own way. So that's what I kind of do now. So my art has now developed into my own style, and I enjoy painting in the way I do now. I now sell my art online through my own website, andrewalanmatthews.co.uk, check it out. And I'm a best-selling artist with artgallery.co.uk. So, leading on from my last video, this was the sketch that I did on my last video. And if you check out my website, you can go to that first one. So what I'm going to do is going to show you how I do my painting. Hopefully it's not like watching paint dry, that's what, so I'm going to get on with it now. So the first thing I do really is the most important thing on these, because you're producing a product, and as any product you need to have it looking good. So what I do is the edges of the canvas, this canvas is, I think it's 30 inches by 20 inches. And 1.5 inches deep, and you want a nice deep canvas when you're selling art online, because a lot of people nowadays, you just want to hang a piece of art up on the wall, so it's a nice looking piece. In the past I just used to frame them, but for my art I just like them on the wall with no framing. So what I tend to do, because I use a lot of paint on mine, and these paints are cheap paints. Some are cheap and some are not. You've got a graduate acrylics. You've got these ones that you can get from B&M anywhere. They're only cheap, but they do the job of what I want to do. Because the way the paint is, it's nice and fluid that you can use.
So you don't add any medium to them?
No, just as it is, and don't add any medium to it. Just straight from the tube. Now this is not telling you the right way or wrong way of doing it. I'm just showing you what I do, and it's for just see if we can get these paints organised. So what I tend to do is I mix a blue up and the red. I'm not prescriptive. It's not like a mathematical equation I do. It's just whatever I think is right at the time. So just mix it up. Trying to get a purple colour here, like a deep purple, because what I do, I like to emphasise the darks and lights of the painting in a modern style. So I do most of my paintings in night scenes or dusk scenes. So first stage for me is I just paint the edge of the canvas, just liberally, make sure you get it fully covered.
I'd have to take it if I wasn't going to do the edges.
Now, because I mentioned I used to be in the as a design separation artist in the textile industry. It was a commercial artist I was, and as part of the career you've got to be precise. And all my artwork was hand painted. A company called TFS it was, and they worked for a company called Brunchweiler, which dealt with ABC Batiks. You know all the African textiles?
Yeah.
You know that on there. So we used to work for them, and we used to get designs in from Liberty or wherever, and we had to get the design and then reproduce the artwork onto film, what they call films, like clear, like see-through paper type thing, and you used to do your art on that, separating all the artwork on. It was very detailed and precise, and you had to do it exactly as it was, because you can't detract from the design.
Do you want about like a sheet that we used to use with the hymns on at school?
Yeah,
Like a laminate, a see-through laminate.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
sheet?
Yeah, so it's like working on that to separate the colours.
You went to a posh school.
I was the one who was
That's
allowed.
like paper.
I was the one who was allowed to change the thing.
You want to.
Oh, yeah. You were teaching us then, weren't you?
You can do what you want. I'm with you.
I'm good at that.
So yeah, it's like that, and you kind of painted it each colour. So if you had like a furnishing design, usually around about 24 colours. So you'd like separate each colour out onto the film, ready for either rotary printing or copper roller printing, ready for printing onto fabrics. So that's what I used to do. But like I said, it was a bit restrictive, and it didn't allow me to express me out what I do now. So, like I say, I went to university, loved the learning experience and attending lectures on various artists. And one of the artists that actually stood out for me was L.S. Lowry. Now, I used to think his work was crap, because he was matchstick men and matchstick dogs. I wasn't really, educated in history of art at the time. But it opened my eyes when I was at university to actually what I did. He was actually a very accomplished artist, was Lowry. If you look at his earlier works, he was extremely good, especially at portraits and all sorts of things. He was just an accomplished artist, so kind of opened my eyes to it. Like I say, he's an accomplished artist, and I've got my inspiration really from L.S. Lowry's work with what I do now. So like I say, Lowry's art, it's like a nostalgic and heritage of 20th century life in Manchester and Salford. So like, I lived in Salford for 18 years, and in Manchester as well, and I love Manchester and Salford. And I paint all my Manchester scenes and Salford scenes as well. So now, nobody paints like Lowry. He painted in oils and used free colours, like a bit like a painted in fresco, but in building thick laser paint. I use a wide colour palette and use acrylics, as you see now. So, but I prefer this way to paint because it's free flowing style, and look for how I can apply paint in thick layers to give some texture. Now I put emphasis on dark and light, using lots of colour to give a modern but nostalgic feel to the art, trying to reflect Manchester and Salford today. And that Lowry painting in muted greys and whites, reflecting Salford and Manchester at the time. With my work, now in I kind of do it in a modern style in that way, and using my characters in a way as to evolve from the paint, which I'll show in a bit. Right. So I've done the outside, which is an important bit. You want to try and make sure you get the full coverage on it. Missed a bit there. That's it.
She would have been on that straight away.
Yeah. So you kind of make sure you don't miss any bits. And that's like your starting point. Okay. Use plates because it's easier. You kind of stay moist on the plates, the paints, and I can mix them really well. So I'm going to go for a Naples yellow and a graduate acrylic on this one. I'll keep your colours separate there, and I'm going to do the sky. I'm going to get the orange, yellows. Like I say, the way I paint is lots of paint. Get different colours on. Like I say, it's not a mathematical equation, you just do it as you feel is right. Right, I think we're alright with that. Right.
Can you write all this down after?
It'll be on the video. Check it out.
Wow.
Right. So we get the old colours on. So I'm going to do like a dusk scene on this, with like the sun coming back down. You don't have this outline that I've done is just a guide. So you kind of flap it over. You're not worrying about it because you've got the guide of it on there. So I'm getting really bright colours on there, and I'll mix it on the actual canvas as well as mixing on the palette. Now, on my videos I'm starting to tell bits and bobs about me my dad's life really, because he's got Alzheimer's and dementia at the minute, and I just feel he's brilliant, my dad. And because I've suffered from stress this year, with stress with my dad being in a care home with dementia and Alzheimer's. So I want to tell a bit of a story about my dad. And one of the stories I'll tell you about today is when he was about 11 years old. He was in Southport on holiday with his mum and with his mum and auntie and everybody. Anyway, he was walking along the beach, and they saw a little bit load of line of men going into the sea. I think, what's going on there? Anyway, there's a man drowning in the sea. So there's a long line of men, about 20 lot, trying to get to him. Anyway, my dad was only 11, took most of his clothes off, jumped in the sea, swam out, got this man who was unconscious in the sea, and brought him back to the shore. And the people on the shore revived him, and he saved his life. Anyway, it was brilliant. So he obviously got sorted out there, he went back home, and he goes back to school a couple of weeks later, because he was in the summer holidays then, and he was in school and he ended up in a fight. He had a big black eye when he was fighting. Anyway, he was seeing the nurse in the school, and anyway, this pupil come up and said, so you wanted in the assembly hall? So he thought, oh shit, I'm in trouble because we're in my fight. So he goes into the assembly hall in U Tree school he was, where he went, and the head teacher says, Matthews, come here, gets him up on stage and tells him about the story about saving the man's life. And everybody started applauding him and everything. So where he was thinking he was going to get in trouble, he got applauded. But then the head teacher at the end of the assembly found out of why he got into a fight with his black eye, because he asked him what happened. And he says, right, Matthews, you got detention for 2 weeks. So yeah, that's the story about me dad.
I thought you was going to say your dad was getting done for wagging off school to say that.
Well, he's always wagging off school, so that was a norm for me dad. No, he wasn't really. He was all right, my dad. So that's one of the stories about my dad. So what I'm doing here now, I'm just putting in the sky with these colours. You don't worry about some of it mixing in, because that can mop out. Put it on thickly as well.
Can you still see your pencil lines?
No.
Like I say, with the actual guide, the pencil drawing, it's just like a guide. So it gives you the idea of where it is on there. That's all it is, a guide, because the majority of your work is when you're actually painting it. So, going to get a bit of blue on here. Right, put a bit of blue away.
I can see you use a lot of paint.
Yeah, I do
I'm
use.
just looking.
Yeah, I do use a lot of paint, but it kind of it's part of my style because it's free flowing, and it's not prescriptive. It's not a mathematical equation that I do.
You've got this mathematical equation up by heart, haven't you?
Yeah, I was shit at maths. I was bloody. I got a grade 5 CSE in maths. I'm surprised I got that. So before I failed. So yeah, I don't like maths. So I can't do it. Basically, that's why.
God, be frightened after doing that.
I'd be frightened to death of covering my pencil drawing under it. I'd never get it right again.
Is it possible just to lift it up a little bit?
I will. Oh, it's,
No, yeah.
you can stand up and have a look at it
Tom.
if you want.
No, just thinking.
I will actually, because I'll show it the camera in a minute. Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. What's to do with the sky?
The colours are actually lovely.
And because, like I said, I used to be very detailed and worried about everything, about
Yeah.
getting everything exactly right. But I don't do that now. It's about enjoyment,
Yeah.
and that's what I do. It's about enjoying what you're doing, and you can be free and decide what you want to do. You know.
No, it's
Oh, that's kind.
So just trying to
it's
get the scale right.
decorated so much more interesting, doesn't it? At home and everything like that.
That's it. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
bit like that.
Yeah.
So that's
Mm.
so a bit of that colour.
What's that colour?
That one is cadmium red. I'm just kind of gauging it with my eye. Thinking it's a bit bloody orange there, I think, so just deep it down a bit. Get a bit more deeper colour. Beyond there. Right, so that's coming on now. I think I'll give it a bit
Yeah, that looks nice. The colours are lovely.
of flick in that.
Oh, the nice colours. Right.
That's what it's about, trying to bring you a bit of colour.
Yeah, yeah, it's lovely.
Because that's what I'm about. Bring me dark and light together and bring a lot
Yeah.
of colour to the artwork in like a dusk scene at night.
Yeah, lovely.
So that's what I kind of do. Like I say, just free flowing. Right. So I've done the sky. Let's just
Wow.
hold this up to the camera. So that's the part of the sky that I've done and the edges of the canvas.
Yeah,
Over there.
nice and set. Nice colours.
Like I say, I'm not teaching you how to paint. This is just what I do. On that.
Do you normally paint flat or do you normally paint up and against an easel?
Well, I'm in my shed, 4 o'clock in the morning, freezing me nuts off. And most times in the winter, bloody snow on the roof and everything. And I'm painting away, just like, I've got midlight, you know, you see that, it's on the bench in the shed. And that's where I paint. Right, so the next stage is, we've done the sky, I'm quite happy with that now. Yeah, I'm alright with that now. Right, so I'm going to do the ground now, on this one. So, what I tend to do, I'll mix on the same palette as me purples and blues, I get a bit more deeper blue.
Half a tube.
Yeah, and
There's no painting Will because he's got it on.
I've got it on. You're right, I'm always down there.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm the culprit.
Yeah, we were saying, weren't we, the other day?
Oh, Andy's been in again, that's what you should be saying. He's been bloody in again, him. Right, so I've got a bit of blue, I've got that Tyalo turquoise, whatever that is.
Like a dark turquoise.
Yeah, like a dark turquoise.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of mixing it in, getting the colour I want. And I'm going to,
It's not being afraid to use it, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I'll say,
That's it, what it is.
that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
You've no bloody chance anyway.
Well, I know, I'm just thinking that
You
now.
used a sixpence worth of paint.
I'm frightened though, of smudging it.
That's what it's all about. Because
I
I've,
know.
Looks like Rolf Harris, isn't it? Can you tell?
hopefully not like Rolf Harris, but
Yes,
yeah.
again.
I think he's got something in his mind there with Rolf Harris.
Well, yeah, that's right, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because it's quite complicated.
I will do
Yeah,
that tomorrow,
yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do a ghost, haven't you?
Thinking, where the bloody hell is
Yeah, where did you take it from
Where's
there?
that building from then?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Where did it start, where did it finish?
that's right, yeah.
Right, so I'm basically getting some nice colours that I want to use. It doesn't matter in what way you do it. Hello there, you alright?
Well, thank you.
So,
Right. Very good, yeah.
Well done, lads.
So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm just going to get a coverage of this in some colours to give it a bit of variety on the base.
You've
And I kind of build it up. Eh?
You've left all the, where's all the lines go?
That's what I've just
That's what I
said.
said, it's just a guide.
Yeah, but how do you know how to draw them again? Because those must have took you a while to draw.
So well, the last video took half an hour, but it was a bit long because we were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a case of what you do with
So it's up
painting.
there, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's painting is painting,
Yeah.
drawing is drawing. So you draw. It's a guide. That's all I do it for.
Yeah.
With this type of painting that I do, that's all it
Trouble
is.
is, I'm not a very good drawer.
I'm not.
Good paint.
I'm not a very good
Well,
drawer.
I looked over that building like that.
I'm not good at drawing. I'm good at painting. Well, I like painting, and this is how I do it.
Yeah.
Right. Give a bit more on there. So just put a bit there where the tram is.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting a kind of a line there. Right. So now I've got my base down
Yeah.
on that, and I've got an idea of where it is.
Just lift it up a little bit.
Eh?
Just lift it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to show.
Right. So I've just got my base down with some basic colours that I've mixed on there on the canvas. On that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Super.
right. So what I do, I get me on this one now. I want to get some nice colours and light reflections from the buildings and the lights at night. So I've got a tram coming through. It's like the trams there, yellow and silver, and they've got lav lights on at night as well. So first of all, big lump of paint, get it on, get it on. Like I say, this is free flowing. You don't piss about. If you piss about, it ruins the effect.
He's listening, Tom.
Tom pisses about all the time.
Yeah.
Still none the wiser, never about 3 lessons, buddy.
Right, so I'm kind of like putting, and I've got like the Urbis is more like, if you can see the Urbis, I don't know if camera can see, but it's like a bluey turquoisey colour on that.
The what, sorry?
A bluey turquoisey
No,
colour.
what did you call it?
Yeah, Urbis.
It's a building in
Oh,
Urbis.
sorry. Yeah.
I'll give you a bit of history about that now. Where are we on there? Right. So basically, Urbis was built when the IRA bombed Manchester with a lorry bomb on Corporation Street. The whole area was devastated. After this happened, the whole surrounding area was redeveloped over the years. And it's now a lovely place to visit. Amongst the buildings stands tall the iconic building of Urbis. Now Urbis is one of the Manchester's iconic buildings and was designed by Ian Simpson. The building opened in June 2002 as part of the redevelopment of Exchange Square, known as the Millennium Quarter. Now Urbis was commissioned as a museum for the city, and there used to be exhibitions on popular culture alongside talks, gigs and special events. Closed for a short time, and now is a permanent national football museum.
Oh, God.
I've been in there, there's some really good paintings in there. Now, I love the modern Urbis building and the history surrounding the area, and that's why I'm painting it today, to show you, because I love this area, Exchange Square. Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Buildings,
Yeah.
the new ones.
Because next to that you've got the print works. That's where my dad used to work as a copy boy. And I told it on my last video. I don't know if should I tell you again?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right. So my dad used to work as a copy boy when he was his first jobs. And anyway, he got a picture of this baby with a nappy on and put Liberace's face on him. And he showed it some of the lads in the print works, and he went round the office for a laugh. Anyway, it ended up in the evening's printing edition. You got it printed, didn't you? In the evening's edition. Anyway, that evening, the editor got telephone calls from all lawsuits and solicitors and all sorts, and wanting to sue him because of it. And so the next day, my dad got promptly marched in the office, and the editor says, Oh look, Mr Matthews, although your picture of the baby with Labrador Archie's face on was very amusing, unfortunately heads need to roll, and guess whose head it is? It's yours. And he got the sack. Well, he's such a funny bloke, my dad. Because, you know, he's... But, yeah, I've got loads of stories to tell, which I'll be telling me in my future videos, so... But yeah, going back to this painting, you find out I'll wander off a bit as well, with what I'm doing. Right, so, I'm going to put a blue on this with a bit of yellow, because I want to get a bit of a colour of that building on there. So I'm just mixing it with my palette knife. We get a big dollop of it. I'll put it here. I'm just going to give, there's always reflections. It's trying not to be mixing it on there too much. On there, so that's
That's 6
that.
days to dry.
Yeah, it does takes a couple of days to dry.
You don't seem to use a lot of white, do you?
I use,
Do
depends what I'm doing. I try
Oh,
not to
I
use
see,
whites,
yeah.
and blacks I only use for my lampposts.
I see,
Whites and blacks,
yeah.
you shouldn't really try and mix them really, because it kind of dulls down the colour. It depends what you want to
I
do.
see.
That's what I do. I kind of try and use as vibrant a colour as I can on
I
here.
see.
Oil paints are more vibrant than acrylics, so I try and do it as colourful as I can on the paintings. So I've got a bit of an outline there. Where are we? Get a bit of green. There's a bit of green on there, I think. Like I say, it's not a mathematical equation.
You need a full dinner service, don't you?
So, I'll put a bit more in there. It's just gauging what you think's right, you know. It's not saying it's the right thing to do. Right, so there's a bit of a junction on here, and there. So I'm going to get a bit of orange.
You just pop it up again.
Yep.
So is your workbench at home? See,
It's in my shed.
the bottom bit above.
Yeah. It's not finished yet.
No, no.
So did you
That's
say you work flat at home?
Yeah, I wrote flat on
Right.
on there.
I just
Depends
think
on
it might be best to work
Yeah, I mean, this one here probably prop up.
for your videos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
really all they're watching is you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're not seeing. It's
Oh.
not really a guiding video if they can't see how you're applying
Yeah.
the colour.
I know what you mean. That's something I'm learning.
Just a bit of a
Told you
guide.
Yeah,
that.
I know,
Come on, Vicky, come on.
You know, have
I
the
will.
easel so that
Told
your
you.
camera's getting it and
Yeah,
your audience.
I think you're right there.
there.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience.
You get more subscribers.
Right. So I'm going to try and put like a pathway at the back on there. Just with, I use a lot of me with. I'll kind of put it up actually doing that. That might be a good idea. Doing a pathway, and I'll kind of add a bit more in here. Right.
You're not coming to my house, you've used too much paint. Bring your own.
Yeah, skin friendly, Tom. That's what you are.
Bring your suitcase. Got on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I've got a better studio than you.
Yeah, you have. Right, so I'm building in the road, and on this here, you don't know if you can see it properly. It's very hard to see on there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of building in a road on there. Like I say, it's not anything as, you know, it's just kind of building something in there, you know, that you're quite happy with. So I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to cover that up again.
I don't like that building, I think it's horrible. I like the old ones, you know, the old buildings, so much nicer, more
Yeah, you've got that. I've got a few paintings with the old and new. It looks good. You know, if you look on my website,
Yeah.
I'll
have a
tell you
look.
what would be a good building to paint. Victoria Baths.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That'd be a good
yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.